All right, folks, today on Capitol Hill, Republicans again can't pick a Speaker of the House. This is what happened when Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan forced a third vote to try to make him the Speaker.
The tellers agree in their tally that the total number of votes cast is 429, of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 194. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 210. The Honorable Patrick McHenry of the state of North Carolina has received 6. All right, the House will come to order. The House will come to order. The Honorable Byron Donalds of the state of Florida has received 2. The Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1. Lee Zeldin of the state of New York has received 4. The Honorable Steve Scalise of the state of Louisiana has received 8. The Honorable Mike Garcia of the state of California has received 1. The Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 2. The Honorable Bruce Westerman of the state of Arkansas has received 1. No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, a speaker has not been elected. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
These people literally do not know what they're doing. Now, here's what was crazy, y'all. Jim Jordan called a news conference for 8 o'clock this morning, all right? Now, last night, 20 of these Republicans told him to his face, say, bro, you're not going to be the Speaker. We are not voting for you. But he was like, okay, I'm still going to push it. And he kept telling everybody, I'm going to be the next Speaker. So each vote they've had, he's lost more votes. This, to me, Kelly, is just beyond hilarious. So let's see. They're rejecting a temporary deal with McHenry. They have rejected McCarthy, rejected Scalise, rejected Jordan. Hey, well, what they gonna do now? This is, again, these are people who are totally dysfunctional.
It would be funny, like if this were happening in a vacuum, I would be guffawing right now. This would look exactly like a comedy show. It looks like a sketch from like early days of SNL where just, you know, chaos ensues, right? But the fact of the matter is, people are dying. Bills need to be paid. And Congress needs to function. None of those things are happening because of the chaos of one party. And that is what's frustrating me. Like, yes, in a vacuum, this is funny. I have to admit that I howled laughing when McHenry angrily did the gavel like it was the hammer of Thor the first time. Like, that was funny to me. But it's getting even more ridiculous than it was that day because people are putting themselves over the people that they represent. And that is just frustrating. It is unfortunately expected now of the Republican Party, but it is still frustrating nonetheless. And like I said, there's a war in Israel right now that apparently we got to fund. There's a war in Ukraine that we got to fund. Guess who holds those purse strings? House of Congress, like House of Representatives, hold those purse strings and nothing can be done. Oh, by the way, we still have a government shutdown that could be happening within the month because all of this stuff is happening and nobody's getting anything done. So yes, it's funny, but all of these things that I just listed out is still happening in the background and it's still going to happen whether we have a speaker or not. And the chaos that is going to be compounded on top of the chaos that we already have, all this is going to do is affect the American people, and that's just sad.
But this is what happens, Matt, when you got hardcore MAGA right-wingers trying to control this whole process. That's what you're seeing right here, point blank. And Democrats are just sitting here saying, please, by all means, be my guest and act a fool.
Yeah, you're right, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was chomping at the bit to answer. This is not only what you have when you have MAGA Republicans doing that. This is what you have when they think there is political capital to play these kinds of games. I mean, Kelly hit the nail on the head. We have serious issues that need to be resolved, and what we're seeing is the extension of the political theater that has become part and parcel, not only with MAGA Republicans, but with a lot of politicians in general. At the end of the day, I don't get to not pay my student loans because I can't get it together because the government is coming to collect. So the House does not get to not do its work because they can't stop playing political theater games. I, for one, wanted Jim Jordan to become the House Speaker because I think it would have just been a new level of idiocy, and it would have just shown how bad and how dysfunctional Congress can be, especially those who are obstinate as a matter of political identity, not obstinate because they're really against the substantive bill, but obstinate because they want to grind the whole process to a halt. But the part of this that is frustrating is that as an American who's watching the prices go up at the grocery store and who has concerns for their children's education and all kinds of things that are funded by Congress, they're playing games in D.C. while the rest of us try to figure out how to live our lives, right? And a lot of that is incidental to what they do in terms of policy. So I mean, it's inherent. They're going to cast votes and you're going to have this process, but it's been hijacked by those MAGA Republicans and those seeking their own political will and to cement their political futures. And we hang in the balance of that. And I'm hoping that, you know, they get over themselves and get a speaker so they can get the work that is necessary to be done.
And very simple, Michael, I gotta remind people, how we vote in these congressional races determines who controls the House, Republicans or Democrats. So if you don't like what's going on here, throw those bums out next November.
Absolutely. And this is something that I warned people about during the 2022 midterm elections when Republicans took back control of the House, because during the first 2 years of the Trump administration, there were 3 government shutdowns, and Republicans controlled the House, the Senate, and the White House. These people cannot govern. It's easy when you're in the minority just to say no to everything and vote against bills that are beneficial to everyday Americans. But when you actually have to govern, you have to be able to pass bills. Jim Jordan has not passed a single bill that he has sponsored in 16 years that he's been in the House of Representatives. He is a chaos agent. He was instrumental in organizing the coup to overthrow the government. So this is more nonsense. And when we look at Matt Gaetz, now, you know, have a lot of Republicans who are mad at Matt Gaetz. And basically what Matt Gaetz did was he jumped out of an airplane and is reading the instructions on how to use the parachute on the way down. They didn't have a backup strategy on this. Okay. Kelly's correct. November 17th, the government can shut down. And it's really important for us to understand how to protect ourselves from crazy people like this. We have to vote them out of office. The difference between Hakeem Jeffries being Speaker of the House and Jim Jordan or Steve Scalise or any of these other Republicans, Kevin McCarthy, is 7,000 votes in a handful of House districts. They did a recount. Lauren Boebert only won by 546 votes in Colorado. Okay, so it's like, this is doable. Okay, but you can't push your issues that you say that you want. Going back to the conversation we had last week, Roland, all these people saying we want this, this, and this, ain't never read the U.S. Constitution, don't know how to get bills passed. Okay, you can't say you want this, but you don't vote for people who want what you want. So elections impact every aspect of our lives. We have to do better.